Well, hello man cavers, we are back with our Douglas parts. Carburetor cleaned, the heads are done, both of them. You see them in the layers one, the other one's down there so I don't get them muddled. Control panel is done. Right, pipes are cleaned, carbs cleaned. I've made gaskets, the two inlet gaskets, and here are our head gaskets. Right, we're going to get this engine back together. I'm going to try and compress this video as much as I can so it isn't too long. We need to anneal these gaskets. They are very thick, nice, heavy, thick gaskets, but they're also hard as a carp. And you should always anneal copper gaskets. So let's get some annealing done. So for those of you wondering what is annealing, most of you in the engine circles will know. It's basically resetting the chemical formula to copper. It's exciting all them copper atoms and getting them to relax again to make the metal more pliable, because they've been compressed for years and they've all gone tight. We need to relax them again. So there we go. So what we do, you can either put them in a pair of pliers, or just dangle them on a screwdriver, and we heat them until they're about cherry red. So I'll forward through this bit. Drop him in the water. There we go. We'll give them a minute to cool down and we can fish them out. There they go. Oh, these are so much softer now. Look how easy they're bending. See, nice, soft and relaxed gasket. So man cavers, we are outside and we are now going to refit our head gaskets and our heads indeed. So we just place our gaskets on. I have made new gaskets for these inlets and outlets and the carburetor. So the bigger one is for the carburetor, this one must be for the outlet. So we'll just put a little bit of blue gasket around here. There we go. This is just a little, I like gasket compound. On these old engines it helps. It helps. And it keeps them in place, look. So we'll just stick him over the inlet there. Another little bit of compound on the outside. Just so our, there you go. Just so our mating face has got somewhere to go. There we go. Right, here's our nice clean ground up head. Let's get him out. If you wonder why I've got the engine this way, it's because it's going to be easier to get the push rods down into place and everything else. Now what we are going to do, before we put them heads on, just put a little bit of oil around this bore, because this engine's it's been wiped out, it's had brake cleaner and all kinds of caper in it. So we want to just make sure that cylinder is well lined. There we go. Just wipe any excess off, because you don't want any oil where your head gasket goes. So just put the piston back at the top and give it a wipe. There you go. You don't want any contaminants on that head face. Clearly you don't need to put instant gasket on a head gasket. That's not really what that's used for. And here we are. Is our gasket here still in place? Just right, let's get this head back on. And there she goes. She is on there nicely. Right, let me get the inlet bolts back in, and then we'll put the rockers and that in. Right, man cavers, we have got our head back on. Oh, that took quite a while, that Spiddly, to get all them bolts back in. I'll put 2 of the studs back in here what hold our rockers. Right, now we need to put our push rods in so they're actually in the followers. I can feel that's gone in the followers. So that's one in. There you go, that one's in. If that was on its side, you'd have a job to get them to hold themselves in. Pretty sure that one's open. That one's opening. I don't know whether I got this one in. Where is that follower? Can't feel it. There you go. Right, both the followers are in. We can now lower our rocker shaft back on here. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Rocker shaft's back on. All with our lifters. Let's get these tightened down. And see how we go. There. There. I know we can sort of do them for a rough torque. You got to remember, these ain't got to be too tight. No torque settings on these old girls, it's all just feel. There. Right, these all seem nicely tight without being too tight. There we go. Do our valves open and close? There you go. We have opening and closing valves. Oh, look at that. We've even got a bit of clearance on that valve. And a bit of clearance on this valve. That is brilliant. Yep. I'd call that about 15 thou. And call that about 8. Perfect. So I'm going to say them clearances certainly aren't binding. Right, that's this side done. Can we be getting the rocker cover back on? Yeah, we'll leave the other side off to time the mag. There we go. Rocker cover on. Give them a little nip up. We'll give them a little clean up as well. We'll try and get that thread facing downwards. Another hair more. There you go. Right, we can get this engine upended and do exactly the same on the other side. Ah! Here's the other one. On she goes. Oops. Ben, you didn't stick your inlet gasket on there. Right, inlet gasket on. And down she goes. Right, I'll get this one bolted back on as well. It takes a bit of a time to do them because you've got to do them with an open-ended spanner, so we'll pause through that. Right, that head's back on. So that's a time-consuming job getting them heads on, because you can't really get your fingers in there to do them up. So you're constantly battling to do them. Right, let's get our push rods and get them seated in the followers. I think that one's there. So try doing this when the engine's... Oh, them ones are going straight in, look. So no upwards force, so they come out. Here we go. We'll lower this back on. There we go. And then let's get all our little nuts back on. Most excellent. Marvellous. There we go. Well, would you know, this socket's done the other side, doesn't fit this side so well. How bizarre is that? Oh, that's cool. So you don't want to do these too tight. Just enough where they feel snug enough where they're not going to bother you. There we go. There we go. There we go. There you go. Perfect. What are our clearances like on this one? We've got two opening valves. We've got a little clearance in there. No clearance in here. So this valve is binding. These are a tiny bit tight. So we need to just crack these undone. If I've got the appropriate size spanner out here. I have. Let me just get a little screwdriver and we'll just adjust that tapper. Well, there you go. Valves adjusted. Let's get our rocker cover back on. Lovely little bit of play. Both sides. Excellent stuff. Ah, this is much better, isn't it? Isn't she looking a bit better now? give it a tighten up. See if we can get that same place as the other one, which is up and down. A bit more. Just a skosh. There you go. Excellent. Let's get this engine upright. Alright, now we are ready to get the carb back on. We have our manifolds on, our heads on, valve clearances set. I'm itching to see if this thing actually has any compression now, because I haven't checked it, but I'm going to trust my work. That we are, we're going to trust my work. So we want our new manifold gasket I made for the inlet. Put a little dab of him around there, not a lot, just a Mickey whisker. Gotta give these old engines the best help we can. Put the old gasket on. If I've cut it right, look at that, fits a treat. Absolutely perfect. Now a little bit this side. Look at that. Perfect stuff. Absolutely perfect. Oh, right now I think, if I remember rightly, this comes up on here, so we've got to put this carb on now. He comes in here. He's right in it. Yep, I think so. Where are the bolts? Oh, here they are. Here they are. Right. Bolts, I should say, nuts. I've moved your camera angle, so I hope you can see a little bit better. Oh, I remember having to get these off. You had to sort of have the carburetor half off to get them out. Right, that's one. Yeah. Come on, get back on there. There you go. No. There we go. Now we are on. And that should clip back. That's it, that's right. Alright, just want to make sure that rod would go back. Alright, let me get an O-branded in there and do them carb bolts up. Right, that's the carb all bolted down. Excellent stuff. Just got to put a little lock screw back on here that I've just noticed I've left off. That just holds the governor spring. There she goes. That is perfect. There we go. Right. What have we got to do now? We're going to put our oil feed pipe. This is the one that goes on the back of the gauge, so we need to put this arrangement back on next. That should go on there, that should go onto the carb. Brilliant. In here is your governor setup, which I noticed last time. That's very posh. So I have done a little bit of work to this off camera, because you must be getting fed up with Douglas videos. We're on about 5 now, I think, just for this one engine, so we're getting long enough. We're getting long enough. Oh, sun's gone in now, guys, and it's lovely out here. It's been too hot lately. Far too hot. I haven't enjoyed it. Right, let's get our cover back on. That should go over this stud. This stud should go back in. There you go. Right. Just need to get the big top nut back on. That's gone in and all. Look. Everything's lining up. I love it. So what's the old engine starting to look like with just a clean of what's there? She's starting to look good, isn't it? I think we're going to have to do another video, one more video after this, of actually putting the mag on. Because I'm running out of daylight now, guys. So we're going to get another video of putting the magneto on. And getting some fuel to this thing. And seeing if it starts. But before we go, I'm itching to find out, does this engine have compression now? Of course, she had 0 compression before. There we go. That's that. Oh, before I forget, the little pipe on the back of the oil gauge, he's got to come on here. Fits, and this one got to go on the engine block. Look at that. It's not even bent or out of alignment. All fits perfectly. Most excellent. There we go. So that one on. So there are a couple of housekeeping bits we've got to do. We've got to just take this oil drainer out of this engine and just let any oil out. Flush it out with a bit of diesel. Put fresh oil in. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, when we turn this over to see if we've got compression in a minute, I'm going to shoot a bit of diesel in there and let that sit in there overnight. There we go. There we go. Oops, this one got to come back on the carb. This is all exciting times now, isn't it? Very exciting times. When we're starting to do fuel lines up, we know we're on the home straight. I didn't tighten this bottom one up, did I? I'll tell you, I left that one, didn't I? So I could adjust the float bolt to where it needed to be. There you go, that's nipped. And that one would be a bigger size, wouldn't it? Anyhow, let's pop some plugs in this thing and give her a crank over and see if she sounds like she's got any compression. I mean, I'll be able to feel it, but you guys will have to listen for it. Gonna say, our valves have been lapped in. Yeah, our valves have been thoroughly lapped in. Our valve clearances have been set. So in theory, this thing should have compression now. Now, what have I done with the handle? There was me struggling to find the starting handle, and there it sits on the old engine. Right, let me come this side. So, we're the right side. Or you're the right side. If not, you're not going to see me. Have we got any compression on this? Yes, we have. Listen to that. Hear that? Yeah. We have very, very good compression. That is superb news. I can't help thinking, it ain't going to be long before we have this thing going. Next video, guys, next video. I did promise you on the last video that this one would be the one where we get it started, but I'm afraid we're losing daylight. So we're going to put the mag on next time, time that up. Yeah, we'll time the mag up, get that on, get the exhaust on, get a fuel line in here, see if she barks off. I can see no reason why she wouldn't. Anyhow, I am filthy. So I'm going to go in for the night. I've had enough. It's hot. And I bet I'm filthy. So there we go. We're going to go. We will see you guys next time. Sorry I've been a bit quiet doing this video. But I've been doing a bit of concentrating, a bit of thinking. And when I have to concentrate and think, because I ain't done stuff before, I tend not to talk quite so much. So there we are. There is our Douglas. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now. Ha-ha!